Should song ministers charge? I want to make sure this is not a rebuttal to anybody's word, because I try as much as possible not to listen to people's video on this subject, except for a little, if a little fraction of the excerpts that just bump into me. I also try not to make sure I'm attacking or replying to anyone. This has been my position for a long time. I've had several posts, Facebook posts or write-ups on it, articles especially on it. I'm just bringing all my thoughts together into a video for the first time. And I know this issue will always come up, so let me just state where I stand. Now, the first two things I want to achieve with this video is that to let you know that all song ministers charge directly or indirectly. I'm still going to come back there. And even word ministers, they charge indirectly, either you know it or not. I mean, many of them. Now, when people talk about song ministers not charging, I sense hypocrisy and insincerity. We are not being truthful. It is same you, I mean Christians generally, that would tell full-time pastors they should be working. Why should they be lazy? Why shouldn't they go and make money for themselves? Why should they be suffering? Now, these song ministers, I tell them not to charge. The word ministers, I tell them to go and do part-time. What should a song minister do? What should a song minister do? Can they really deliver well if they are into it part-time? Will they come to that point that you will leave all your church choir and all your gifted women and fathers in the church that used to sing in their days? Will you leave them and go and call them if they are into it part-time? If they are unable to master song, master their voice, go to rehearsals, do personal rehearsals, especially their band members. Many of their band members are there full-time. That is why if you have never been part of the life of a song minister, maybe you should keep quiet. You have never been part of their life. You don't know the journey. Some of their band members will not come to them if they are not paid. And that is what those boys, they may not be very spiritual. That is what they do full time. They have families. That is how they feed their family. So when they call one of them to come around, that they have a program, and he receives another call where they will pay him higher or where they are paying them constantly, they will go there. They are loyal. They don't have loyalty to anyone. So how should they handle that part? Because many of these people have to put their band members on monthly salary. So you ask them not to charge, that they should trust God. Meanwhile, you are also telling full-time pastors not to trust God but to do part-time. And these song ministers cannot do part-time if they will be at their best. You pay your own pastors allowances and salaries. Either they are part-time or full-time, they still collect allowances. But you are telling song ministers to trust God. You yourself, as a pastor or GO, you are collecting allowance. If you are not collecting a salary, you are collecting transport allowance. There are fringe allowances, that is running costs, that is coming to you. These guys have no one to give them all these things. You're asking them to trust God, not to charge. Somebody even said, if God not call them to full-time, let them go and do part-time. Can they come to a point where you will seek them out if they were running it part-timely? So these are the things we need to look at. And another mistake we are making is that we are equating song ministers with fivefold office. It's not the same. The ministry of songs, mistress, have been existing since Old Testament. Yet the New Testament never made a mention of them, never recognized them as one. It's not even as one. It didn't even mention song ministries, music ministers, those that specialize in song, those that sing, both in Romans where they talk about the believer's gift, First Corinthians where they talk about the spiritual gift, and Ephesians where they talks about the ministerial gift, and First Corinthians where they talk about the ministerial gift. Not one place was music ministers, mistress added to the list. So spiritually, they are not they are not among. So when you say music ministers are ministers that ministers to people through song, and you are not bringing them under the fivefold offices, you're getting it wrong. Because you have apostles, you have prophets, you have pastors, you have evangelists, you have teachers. Ministry of Christ is the ministry of the word. If you are not actively teaching and preaching, not singing, preaching and teaching the word, not singing the word, you are not in a fivefold office. You are in the help ministry. This does not disintegrate. This does not reduce your calling, your anointing, this of God upon your head. No. Just that, don't let us judge these people with the same standard that we judge fivefold offices. And I won't even want to leave the spiritual part of it aside. Let's look at the practical side of it. A word minister has a base. More often than not, I've been to a place, I took about some people along. I told them, this place, I am not expecting them to give me any dime. I said they will give me something, but it won't even be up to the falling of my car. I can go to places where they won't even offer me anything. If it is within my coverage as a minister, as a president, as a pastor of Sardos, it is part of our system to reach out to churches and places. So when I'm invited and I cannot bear the cost, and it is within our coverage area, according to our principle, the ministry covers it. So I have a base to bear the running cost. Who maintains my car? If I didn't have money to maintain the car and I'm on an official car as a pastor, the ministry maintains it. So compare that to a song minister who is using his personal car. Who maintains it for him? Even if a pastor fuels his car with his money, because I've worked even before Sardos, I've worked in an organized system. In scripture, I knew the system, the basis, how things are run, and it is the same with many ministries. That's why some ministries will not give their pastors an official car, but they will give them maybe transport allowance or traveling allowance. So we have a system that caters for certain things. These people have no such base. We, word ministers, we have disciples. There's no town or city I get to in Nigeria today that I'll be stranded. I've been traveling for a wedding. I didn't know the place was that far. I have to have a stopover. I just need to ask our leaders. They told me I will not get an hotel in that place, blah, blah, it's risky in that town, in that village. I just said, find me a Sardosite in so place. Within 5 minutes, they gave me names. I could literally branch a place and sleep. I've been to a place where they invited me and they were starving me. They put me in a house. It was not an hotel. It was their house. I was okay with it. I didn't have any issue with it. It was mosquito infested. It's okay. There was noise pollution. It's still okay. They were still starving me. So when I can't take the starving anymore, I put a call to one of our members living around that side. And then the person brought food for me. I have been to a place I would have been hospitalized for food poisoning. The food they were serving me was dirty. They locked me in a very beautiful and expensive hotel. I didn't ask for it. But the meal, nothing to write home about. Dirty. Some undone. Meal to meal, they were throwing away. I was giving them back because I don't minister in a place and get angry after I left. I don't minister in anger. I don't minister in hatred. I have had my worst experiences. From that time, I have sat down, spoken to myself, because I saw one of these pastors who is also condemning some ministers that charge, and then he was complaining that some word ministers also overdo, and he was trying to balance it and say some host people are very wicked and God will punish them. I didn't have any host that ever hosted me that I will sit down and say God will punish them. No, I don't allow whatever they do to get to me. I make arrangement for myself. So I told them your food is not good. I told them you to taste it, look, to check the food, check the fruits, even including the fruit. They were taking the food back and nothing changed. I called people. I went out. Okay, the place I couldn't even go out. It was not that place that I went to look for an eatery. There was another place I had to go and travel to look for an eatery. I've announced my trip once that I'm taking a trip through this area, and my members were sending money to me. They were sending money to my host and say, please take care of our pastor. They send money to them. I've been to places that my meal plan will be collected, and then they will tell the people this is what should be on the menu. It's not a matter of whether they can afford it or not. If they can't, I sort it by myself. Some people will even ask for it. What am I saying? I have people. If it is to spend money, if it is to have comfort, if it is to run errand, even in a strange land, and many pastors too, not all, those that raise disciples. Because by the virtue of kind of ministry that I run, I raise people that are in different, those that have direct contact with my teachings, not just maybe a member from somewhere, in different places. These word ministers do not have such. These music ministers do not have such. So why are we trying to judge them by the same rule? Whatever you suffer as a word minister when you travel alone, you suffer it alone. Many of my terrible experiences, I've been to a place, the place I said they starved me. When I was leaving, see, those times, and there's another lie that we tell people. We tell them to trust God. Wait. Even you, a Christian, do you know how to trust God? Have you learned it? How many ministers have learned trusting God? Between when you begin to trust God and you break through, because those that are trusting God, they know that there is a phase. Within that phase, the things you go through are nothing to write home about. They are not very sweet experiences, but we go through them, we come out as, in fact, we are still on the journey. So I went to this place. I didn't have transport fare. Or maybe I have some amount on me, which I had to even use. I was left with little or nothing. And I traveled. I left my family at home for days. I got there. I said I was treated badly, which that was my last worst experience anyway. Yes, because it is of the mind. From that day, I may not reject invite. I know what to expect in some places. I prepare for it. I don't get that kind of expect that I will have to leave my host and be feeling bad. So in short, these people were not ready to give me any money, not even for transport fare. I expected that when you invite someone, even if you don't have anything at all, you calculate their transport fare to and fro. See, if I want to do missions, I'll go to my local church. I will go into the street for evangelism. I still do evangelism up to now. I will go there. If you are inviting me, don't tell me you should come and do mission at your church or at your place. It's mission, right? But you have to pay for it. I've been to a missionary before now, and I told him that I want to do some tax with him, blah, blah, blah. He was trying to tell me that, see, I can't come. And I was ready to actually treat him very well. He said, he was trying to tell me that if I didn't give him a kind of heads up on what I'm going to offer, you may say he has compromised. Thank you. It's better he stays in his office and on the field where his ministry covers and pay for than to come to your own place. Like a pastor said, I asked her to come and worship our God, and she's asking me for money. Why must you ask her to come and worship your God in your own church? Why must you ask her to come and worship our own God in your own church? She has a house. She can worship her God there. So, I expect that if you invite someone, you calculate their transport fare for to and fro. That's the list. And you add 1,000 naira to it, 500 naira to it, and you hand it over to them. These guys were telling me bye-bye. I had to call them. I had to call them because this is my spiritual son. And I don't like to harbor hatred. I said, what are you thinking? Make sure you send my transport fare to me. Meanwhile, I was supposed to leave that place to travel to another place to go and minister. And I didn't have money on me. I didn't have money at all. You can say, why didn't I trust God? So I went, maybe I had some on me. So I branched home, get some money, then took covenant for the next journey the same day. They didn't send the money back. They didn't send the transport fare like I said. I text them. I told them, please don't worry about the transport fare again. The Lord bless you. Because I was angry. But that was my last anger. I've never angry with another person again. No. With another person, no. Even those ones, I've forgiven them. If I can, people have invited me before to the distance. The distance is more. I told them, I can't come by road. I can only come by air. Please. I can't afford the airfare. You two cannot afford it. Let me sit down. Let me sit down. So, and this is my point. We go through a lot. But you cannot compare what you go through as one person, word minister, and a person that has to go with another person that has a family, another person that has a family, and another. Imagine I went with people that has families to that place where they can't give me even my transport fare and where they starve me, and they left their family at all. I will tell them, trust God. Even you have not learned to trust. Those have been teaching faith for 10 years. Many of them have not learned to trust God up to now. Some of them. Now, you want to teach the band members of the music minister to trust God. Now, I've said this one. You can do part-time, but it's not so convenient for them to do part-time. You spend time, they spend money. This one thing these pastors don't know. If I want to seek the face of God, what do I do? Carry my Bible, pray, fast, retreat. Even retreat is not expensive. I'm not joking. Retreat is not expensive depending on where you go to. If you go to the mountain to do your retreat, you will still spend. But can you compare it to a music minister that will write a church, please? That's why I said if you have not been part of this people's process, don't be quick to judge them. They will write a church, please. I want to come and rehearse in your church. They may get a church, they may not get a church. They will fuel the engine. They will call keyboardists, they will call gun, they will call backup, they will pay those people at least their transport fare. They will go book studio sections. It costs them money. But it costs you time. I've not said whether they should charge or not. I'm just telling you that before you now jump up and start typing, start tweeting, this is Balaam, this is before you go to begin to preach and condemn them. Understand the process. Even when they learn faith, can their band members learn faith? I have seen things as a single person moving around. There was a time I was very allergic to dust. In fact, God healed me miraculously. And I was invited in a place in Lagos. It was when I got there that they remembered that I was supposed to sleep before the vigil. Maybe they were expecting me to hang around. I didn't have a car. Even if I had a car, must I take my car to the place? I don't live in Lagos. They now want to park a place for me to sleep. It was dusty. I was going to a place. I've already arranged where I will sleep. No, I didn't even arrange. It was a town. I have a lot of people there. we have a organized chapter there already. So I didn't have, I know I won't have issues there. And I went with some people. But when I was on my way, they called me and I asked them, when, hey, I asked them, when will I come up on the program? Do you know they didn't know when I will come up? They were not asking each other, when? So when they come back, I said, okay, where will I sleep? I had to ask them, where will I sleep? So when some people invite you, they are not thinking of any other thing about you. When I realized that, I began to ask, what time is the program, please? If it will require that I take a rest before the program, is there a place I can rest? I'm not asking for 5-star, 4-star hotel. When it gets to a point where I can't sleep anywhere but hotel, I will tell them, see, I will stay where I am. Don't call me. If I can afford the hotel, I will go there, pay for the hotel, sleep there. You may not make any arrangement. I don't mind. I want to preach the gospel, but I don't want it to be that your own negligence is what I am calling a price for the cross. No. So I ask people, for what I used to discharge many people is write a letter. Some people chatted me, send me your picture, send me your account number, send me your this, and want to invite you. God, wait. Write a letter first. Let me see how serious you are. Let me see how intentional you are about inviting me. Some people don't know how to use Gmail. They will tell me I didn't see your letter in my Gmail. Okay, attach it to me on WhatsApp. When they will send that in on WhatsApp, I will know the kind of place I'm going and what to expect. So I'll make up my mind. Some write letter, they will disappear. You won't see them again. If you had given those such people your word and say, okay, I will come, just text the date and time. Whatever you face in that place is on your own. So the negligence of some people, I won't count it as price to pay for the cross. I said, God now tell me, especially, son, leave their negligence. I'm saying, I go on evangelism all the time. I do evangelism all the time. I have personal people I follow up. I have new converts. I have people at different stages in spiritual growth. So I'm fulfilling my mandate. Whatever I'm coming to do at your side is an add-on. But I can say that. I can live like that. How convenient it is for a song minister to live like that. That is why they demand commitment or some level of intentionality. I'm not saying I'm approving it, but where are they coming from? Now, so are we complaining that some are charging outrageously, or the problem is that they are charging at all? Because some of the clips I saw, they won't complain if those people have charged less. It's because they couldn't afford what those guys charged. Or maybe they felt what they charged was too much. Now, if they had charged less, would you have still invited them? Then your problem is not charging. The problem is affordability. If somebody overcharge me, if I call you and you overcharge me, or you charge me what I believe is ridiculous, I will leave you alone. If I call someone and the person charge me what I can afford and it's okay in our budget, I will invite the person. Me. If somebody did not charge, I will treat the person well. If the person charge, I will treat the person well. Because at the end of the day, those that charge are much more accessible than those that don't charge, because they still charge indirectly. We're trying to call someone. I want to give you a tax. Those that say they did not charge, try and invite them. That's when your eyes will see that the currency they are charging is association. If you don't know people that know them, and if they don't know that somebody they know knows you, they will not come. Because by the reason of association, they can decide whether you will treat them well or not. I know pastors who have ignored invitations because they felt their host will not treat them well. What ministers? They cannot charge, right? But they believe that because the person is not coming through someone, they can't do well. What ministers? I have my fats. So those that don't charge, they also charge indirectly. Association. If a person tells you, I collect your number from Bishop Francis Wale, okay, I want to invite you. Check the way they will respond. We wrote someone a year. I was not the one director, I was in the committee. So we wrote the person a year ahead to his email. We're inviting you. He's not one of those that charge. We're inviting you. Guess what they told us in reply? After persistent reminder, they told us that the date we pick, if we have invited them 3 months ahead, they could say they are busy. Now we give them 12 months. They told us that they don't know where they will be by then. The date is free, but they don't know where they will be. Now, if we went through someone that knows them, would they do that? There are people we send letters to in that committee that never replied because there's no association. Meanwhile, those that charge, you send them a letter, they'll send you your invoice. You can negotiate, you can discuss. And those that still will not charge, that will respond to you, either through someone, I'm speaking from experience. They will tell you, I know somebody that said, you give us an Oma bus that will carry our crew from Lagos, you give us an hotel this, an hotel that, but we don't charge. Which is, I didn't say they're asking for too much. Yeah, that people particular, they're not asking for too much. Because normally, okay, what should transport them from their base to your own base? What should transport them? Should they go and enter Benin or they should go and enter Lagos Ikeja? What should they enter? Something has to bring them, and you have to provide it. And the more restful they are, the more relaxed they are. Because I travel too, the better they will minister. They won't be too tired to come up stage. And they will ask for hotel because they can't come and sleep in your house. What if you put something on their head in your house? What if something happened in your house? Is it secured enough for them? And they don't know you. So they will ask for hotel. It's just basic. I said what those people ask is basic. I'm not saying what all of the song ministers used to ask is basic. So when they said that to us, I figured out that anybody that can afford Oma bus and a kind of hotel they will sleep will also be able to afford honorarium that is befitting. So they have used those preconditions and logistics to separate suspect from prospect. So have they not charged? And the ones that if you don't know somebody that knows them that can vouch and say, this is a good person, have they not charged? So what's my own advice? Test people. Especially if you are just coming up. Test them. Send a letter of invite. But I learned a lot of invite may not be good for some ministers. Maybe. I don't know. You can ask them, what's your budget? It's fine. I've managed such an affair for a song minister before. So I was like the PA. Or I was the PA. So once they direct them to me, what's your date? Let's check our diary. Let's check the convenience. You now ask them, what's your budget for that day? We just plan to give you 5,000 naira. Now, we have a standard price for backup, standard price for keyboardist, standard price for gong. Before you begin to say, that means you and your backup are not ministers together. They are not ministers together. They are hirelings. Yes, you can say it. They are it is that one person that is a minister. Others are hirelings. The same way you also went to buy generator for your church. and you do not tell that generator seller that he is a minister together, the same way that person playing gangan is not a minister together. And if we want a minister together to join us, we will not see. They will not see a minister together. Those are the ones that are available. So there's a standard fee for them. So when you tell me you are inviting us, I won't even go with them. And I calculate what it will take. If the date is free and your money will pay for the logistics, I will tell my oga. She may say, I will go. The date is free. Because the date is free and I will be at home. Why? I will go. If she felt like, okay, with what they are presenting, I can add a little to it. If it will feel like if my oga feels, if he feels the money is not enough, we'll tell the person, your budget cannot work the logistics. If I felt that after paying the band, the backups, the transportation, there should be something left for this song minister to also hold, and the budget they present is far cry from it or cannot carry it, I'm at the freedom to reject their proposal. If they now say, okay, please, how much should we put? No, this is not bread and butter. This is ministry. This is not egg. If that was your plan initially, it cannot handle it. Don't worry, we are not coming. That's the principle. There's nothing like, let me not add 10K. There are some exceptions when they persist and persist and persist, and we realize that they can afford it. They just decided to push whatever they push forward at first. You can now tell them, write on our paper, on our plan, we plan around this amount. You can now add to it. If they say, we can't add up to that, please can we add 5,000 to it? Please, sorry. There's nothing they say after that time. The deal is off. Come another time or go and invite another person. Because we are just trying to make sure that those that go with us don't suffer and they remain loyal and committed, so that when we need them anytime, we can call them. They may not get so much from your own end, but when we get to another end, they can get much. But if they can't get anything from your own hand and they would disappoint us and will not be able to sing very well, we tell you, no, please don't worry. There's no beg you can beg. It is don't worry. Because some people will be begging you to tell you the amount you will take. We tell them, don't worry, please. Go and call somebody else. Somebody have invited me before. I've forgotten where he was inviting me from. Okay, I remember now, but I won't tell you. I said, where I am to that place, I can't come by road transport. It's not pride. If I have my money, if I can afford it, if it's in my system, I will take flights and call. I ask you to give whatever you can give, or you can give whatever you can give. When God helps me, as I'm trusting God, I won't even collect anything. I will even give you. There are places you go that you give them. Yes, but I will not try to hide shame or hide under shame or something and then just come. No, I can't travel. The person said, don't worry, I'll pay for your flight. I said, first go and find out how much flight is before you promise that you can pay. When he went and came, I said, the money is somehow, but he will pay. I told my people, go and check his church for me. I sent them the location, the address. Go and check it. Let me see the kind of church this man has that is telling me will pay for flight. When they check his church, I can't even allow him to pay for my bus fare. Why will you pay for my bus fare when your church when your church building is in this state? You can have that money, because I'm not going to come there and raise money for you. And that's one point I want to raise, though. Those of you that call song ministers that are charging you, tell us the people you call. Tell us why you call them. Is it because of worship or is it because of people? Confess to us. You know why you are inviting them. They know why you are inviting them. That was why they charge you for what you are inviting them to come and do, because you don't need to do much radio jingle, much billboard again. Even if you do much billboard and radio jingle, it will bring you a lot of people. You will collect offering, you will collect seed. Some of you will collect seed, some of you will do this, and they say people will come out and come and give. Some of you will do all those things, and they know you want to use them. You are not complaining that they are charging, but you want to use them, because why don't you call people that are not reigning in quotes in good faith? So I was not going to go to the pastor and come and go and raise money for him. So I zero my mind. I'm not going. Even if you are paying for bus, I'm not going. And that's what I do for distant ministrations. If I can't access your place, I'll ask people to come and find out, especially for security reasons also. I've been to a place, there was a place they invited me, they said I should come. I told them they pay for flight, they said they can't afford that. If they can pay for tour and I pay for flow, it's not in my plan. After that time, our ministry had program around that place. And I went to his church, ministered for this. And I feel fulfilled. He was blessed. I was blessed. He has been part of our ministry as a mentee for some time. He has done a lot of things. I was happy to see the things he has done with the word he received. I respected him. I trust God on his life. And fine. Can I go there tomorrow with my money? Yes. Will I go there tomorrow with my money? Based on what I have. It's not by force, but I will not go there by force. Yes, I can. Now, this is the tricky part. I actually traveled to that place by bus eventually for our ministry's missions. Though I returned by flight, but I went by road at that time. But I may not be able to take that kind of journey or stress or risk for another person, for another ministry. Call it anything you like. I'm reaching souls. I'm winning souls. That's what I do all my life. I come to the, if the pastor that invited me has never made contact with me, or I recorded a course, push out the course for free, registered for it, maybe registered for our paid courses, maybe 1,500 or 2,000 naira. It was blessed. God blessed him abundantly. Things were happening in his ministry. I give thanks to God. So I do that already. So why should I add walking about to it? So that's my own submission. If somebody charges, it's not my problem. Somebody does not charge, it's not my problem. But those of you that don't charge, apply wisdom. Don't be frustrated. It's very important. Like that man of God that said God punish his host. I will never say God punish anybody. Look at, measure. There's a way you can measure people's commitment. Like these days, I will ask people, where will I sleep? Where will I stay? I'm not telling them where to put me. I'm telling them where to know whether they are prayers or not. The way they react will tell me what to expect, if I should make other arrangements or I should not go at all. See, or whether I should not go at all. So at a phase in your life, even up to now, there are places I go to. I returned the honorarium. I was in a place yesterday. Today is yesterday or 2 days ago. The envelope was heavy. I rejected it. A place you go to, you reject. I wish I could go to every place and reject. God will help me. If you so ask me to, God will help me. But there are places you pick over, you reject, you don't collect anything. Places you have to bear half of it. You have to understand. You have to even beg them to even allow you to even sing at all. Places you have to separate suspect from prospect, whether later or asking their arrangement or asking their budget. You can do all that. If you charge directly and say, pay me this amount, pay me that amount, it may not be good for your reputation at the long run. It may not be good for your spirit, but maybe it is okay for you on your own hand. Maybe that will help you to scale off many protocols and all of that. Make it reasonable. Make it reasonable. That will bless you. And make of my word anything you like, please.